Hello and welcome to another episode of TV. It's all you've got. Actually,
Hello and
it's
welcome.
it's it's all we've got, isn't it, Lauren?
It is all we've got,
You and
especially right
I,
now.
you, actually, for quite some time, the last year and a half. You know, Victoria has spent the better part of 220 odd days in lockdown. Now, that means they haven't been allowed to go to cinema.
Mhm.
Are you allowed to go to a cinema in New South Wales? No.
I don't believe so. There was a
Okay.
time when we were,
Oh
but not
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. No, no, no. Now we're in lockdowns, we're in curfew. It really is quite stifling. So television is all we've got.
It is all we've got. It's all we can rely on. Never
This
lets
is
us
the
down,
correct.
you know.
Well, it can occasionally when there's a dud show, and we'll
That's
talk
where you just
about
put
some of
something
them.
else on. Change a channel.
That's
Pop in
actually
a DVD.
now wait a
Go on
moment.
Netflix.
Stream from another
There are so many
platform.
options now.
Yeah, yeah. That is true. In fact, TV not only is all we've got to be as creative and entertained as much as possible, but it is extraordinary that we have so many people in this captive sphere, and they're sampling almost every day. Some people are
Yeah.
sampling programs morning, noon, and night, which I don't think is terribly healthy. But you and I came across this idea of doing a podcast along
Mhm.
the lines of a virtual audience. As you can see, we have our virtual theatre ready to go, and we're paying a
Mhm.
homage or a little bit of a thank you to all those people that came before us who love to chew the fat and talk about film or talk about cinema or talk about movies. Um, I can remember working
Mhm.
with Margaret Pomerantz and David Stratton all those years ago in the inception of Channel, was it SBS in those days, or Channel O and 28. And I can remember how much fun those two had talking about cinema and television, but more cinema and less television. In our case, it's all about what you can see on TV. And that's an awful lot these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Some movies that we never thought we would see are going straight to your streaming services.
Correct.
So,
Mind you, some are so bad they need to bypass the cinema. So you and I came up across this idea about 4 or 5 weeks ago. You were saying, "Dad, I haven't seen you in years," and I then
not
reminded
years,
you,
I've seen you.
"You do
I
see
saw
me."
you at the beginning of this year. I saw you in
And
May.
how lucky were we to be
So lucky.
3 days together?
So, yeah, it was actually 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we could manage.
And not only that, if my memory serves me correctly, you were going back to Sydney just as we
Mhm.
were getting word that we were going to go into a lockdown.
Yeah. So 2 weeks later, I think you went into full lockdown again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lockdowns in Victoria, in Australia, if you're watching, across the sea and the other end of the world, and you're thinking to yourself, surely not. They don't have lockdowns in Australia. The truth of the matter is, we have had an inordinate number of lockdowns. I'm just trying to remember, have we gone to a theatre show together?
Yes. You took me to see Wizard of Oz when Bert
Yeah.
Newton was in it.
Yes. Do you
So
remember
that would have been,
taking you to see Simply Red?
yeah, well, yes. But okay, so was Simply Red the one that I fell asleep at?
Yes, we were at the Thebarton Theatre in Adelaide, and you had
Okay.
come across, you were on school holidays, and
Yeah.
yes, it was an awful long day, and it was a tremendous concert. And
Yeah.
I think you sang and danced for as
Sounds
long
about
as you
right.
could before you fell asleep.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
does
it was
sound right.
very, very cute.
Yeah. I mean, I remember it because I loved Simply Red.
What was the quest? What was the quest or the challenge you left me with last week? Can you remember?
Well, I wanted you to watch a movie that makes me feel full
And
and
safe
full of joy,
and
full of
safe
joy
and
and
safe.
safe and happy. And it's called Pitch Perfect. which is a little movie that was filmed probably about 10 years ago now. And it has singing in it. It is just a bunch of nerds getting together, doing what they love.
Style.
A cappella style.
Yeah.
And so,
it has shades of Glee in it, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. Yeah.
So what is it about the movie that you enjoyed so much? Is it the cast?
The cast has a big draw.
Is it the style of music? What is it?
I think the cast definitely was a big draw for me. I really do enjoy seeing Broadway stars crossing over and doing movies or TV shows. But I also think it's just the spirit of the movie. It's definitely taking all these underdogs, all these misfits, and kind of forcing them into an environment where they like have to get along, whether they want to or not, for the greater good. And yeah, it really does bond them. And I just think that's a beautiful story. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, what you look like, all those things. You can find your people if you just give in to your inner nerd.
That's a recurrent theme in a lot of the shows that you've asked me to watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for someone
you asked me, you took me out there and you took me into this rarefied air and you said, go and see Schmigadoon, Dad, on Apple Plus. And I went, what?
Yeah.
Is there a show called Schmigadoon? And as a matter of fact, there is. If you haven't seen it, get along. But
please do.
And there's no warning. It's just a little blessing. If you enjoy theatre, if you enjoy musicals, it has an awful lot about it that's really good to know. It's a very clever use of a script, and it has some great messaging. And again, a couple of young people who have struggled to have a meaningful relationship or with anybody, found one another. They're sort of there together and love deeply one another, you think, or they think, and then they test the resolve of that relationship in this sequence of stories that make up the series called Schmigadoon. It's only what, 6 episodes?
6 episodes, yep.
So it's
30 minutes an episode.
So it's not a hard watch. It's not a taxing watch.
Not at all.
If you enjoy your music and like a little bit of messaging in there, positive messaging, it has something going for it.
Yeah.
Now, and I said to you at the time, have the courage of your convictions. Go out and see something else other than Schmigadoon. And I asked you to go and watch Ted Lasso, and you were very brave because you're not a great sports person to speak of, but you were charmed by it. You were charmed by it.
Yeah. Yeah, very much in the same way that I've been charmed by Pitch Perfect. You know,
bunch of misfits.
Yeah. All these people that are nerds about what they love and get together and share that love. It's very nice. It's very happy.
And what did you
ask me to watch? Makes me feel warm inside.
And what did you ask me to watch?
You asked me to watch Infinite.
Yes.
Infinite.
Yes. Starring Mark Wahlberg and Chiwetel.
Marky Mark.
Yes. And Chiwetel Ejiofor. Now, here's a guy who's made a huge career for himself in theatre. Tremendous talent. 12 Years a Slave, I think, earned him an Academy Award. I remember him in Love, actually. And if you see Infinite, you couldn't pick two characters further apart because he plays a true villain with quite some chops. Does a tremendous job, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's a very fast-paced movie, and there's a lot of action. So, yeah.
What did you make of it?
That's my take. No, I enjoyed it. I think it was. I love a good action movie. I've said this to you on numerous occasions. I'm kind of more of a Marvel action movie than I am like Fast and Furious.
Okay, let me ask you a question. When you say you're a Marvel girl, is it maybe because of the music overlaid a lot of the music in Marvel drives the movies. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy
Mm.
You know,
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, great soundtrack, both of
they
them.
introduce some great characters. It's
Mm.
really well done. It's kind of funny as well, and yet at the end
Mm.
of the day, there's a big battle, and the champions tend to get up and deliver the goods at the end of each movie. They tell me that
Mm.
Chris Pratt's got a new movie coming out very soon, and they tell us that Marvel
Mm-hmm.
have gone down another pathway and created some more
Mm-hmm.
characters, some new characters. Are you going to go and sample some of these new Marvel characters?
Yeah, probably.
Is that the main
Yeah,
thing for
I
you? Is that the main thing for you, music?
no, I don't think music, I mean, it helps definitely, but I think for me it's that whole idea of again uniting as a team and working together for one big issue. And as predictable as they might be, I think they still find ways to throw us off. And it's always a really interesting watch, and incorporating different storylines, different characters' storylines into it and interweaving that. So you see their relationships and how everything works in this world. That's fascinating to me.
How have you been in lockdown this week? How have you coped with the added pressures of keeping a job, keeping an apartment, and keeping ahead of your father's demands to watch yet another movie to see what you can add to the podcast?
Well, do you know what? I had Pitch Perfect on repeat to help with my anxiety. So it was great.
Can I
There's a
give you
few shows that I repeat. So
okay, well can I let you into a secret?
of course.
When you asked me last week to see Pitch Perfect, I had
Yes.
I had an inkling that I had seen the movie before, but I didn't want to say
Mm-hmm.
anything. And then
Mm-hmm.
the opening scenes, from the minute I see the movie, I've gone, yeah, okay, it is. I've seen
Yeah.
this before. So I refreshed myself, watched the movie again. I
Mm.
noticed though you didn't offer me the chance to go and back it up and watch any of the sequels. Why is that?
I think the first one was the best one. The second one is okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think it was probably, although I love the franchise, I think one movie was enough. One movie really did do us the justice it needed to.
Hang on. You can't love the franchise, but it should have stayed at one. That's that. I'm not going to wear that. You're going to have to.
Okay.
You're going to have to
So look,
rethink.
I love the
Marvel
characters.
and Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a franchise. The
Okay.
Avengers. That's a
Okay.
franchise. And
So
they're winning.
I loved the
Iron
movie. I
Man
love the
franchise.
characters. I love the movie. I love the characters. I love everything it stands for.
But
Second movie, they didn't need to spoil it the way that they did. And the third movie just didn't need to happen. I it sounds so bad because I'm such a huge fan of the first movie. I love it so much.
so,
And
what's the
I was just
difference between the
disappointed.
three movies? Why does 2 and 3, Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, not cut the mustard in Lauren Danikian's mind?
Because it almost seemed to lose its sparkle, if that
So the
makes
energy.
sense. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of it just seemed
Was the
forced.
music not up to it?
No, the music was great. The performances were great. It was just
On repeat.
forced, I think.
Forced.
Yeah, it
Oh,
did
okay.
feel like they were kind of scrambling for ideas, which,
Well, is it a case? Let me be defensive and say to you,
okay.
is it possible that
Mm-hmm.
you'd already seen the one and the
Yeah.
plot in 2 and 3 is identical, and it loses some of that? Oh, what's going to happen next?
I don't know what it is. I think it's because they were so comfortable in their bubble.
Yep.
In the second movie, they didn't want to leave college, right? Some of them did and some of them didn't. But because they had this bond, this sisterhood, they didn't really want to move on. And I felt like that was inevitable. You know, at the end of the day, you have to. You've got to
Yeah.
move on. You've got to grow up. You've got to do all these things. And so I just felt like, yes, it was really nice to see them all like finish college and introduce a new group of the Bellas, but
Right.
it was just that core group that you fell for in the first movie. And I would have been content when the first one was over, just knowing that they continued on to do a cappella, left school, and remained friends. I didn't
Right.
really need to know about the drama that ensued after that.
I enjoyed Pitch Perfect because as I said, it was nice to refresh. I again
Mhm.
enjoyed the music. It's a little lame in a couple of little places, but that's probably my age looking back and going, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
all in all, it finishes on a high.
Mhm.
And as you reminded me, there is some tremendous talent on show, theatrical talent on show. I thought it had an awful lot to showcase, and it did pretty
Mm.
well. And again, I'm very glad that you didn't ask me to do 2 and 3 because that may well have been a little more than I would have been able to cope with.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think I would put anybody through that.
but I haven't
I saw them
challenged.
once because I felt like I had to, and that was enough.
But we didn't cause any problems forcing you or encouraging you to watch Infinite. You
No,
enjoyed it?
I actually look, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good action movie. Um, I liked the concept
Yep.
that um, reincarnation is a idea as possibility. And so I think if it does turn into a franchise, that
Well, they did
you
leave
know
us in the air.
you can play it with any actors. Really, you're not
Yeah.
stuck with that cast,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. It kind of gives it a bit more life, so to
Mm.
speak. Haha, another life. Get it?
Very good. Yes. Excellent.
Um, for me though, and you and I have had this conversation before, my brain goes a little logical when I'm watching action movies like this. So, to not to spoil it, but let's say, for example, if
Mm-hmm.
someone gets shot in the back of the head,
Mm-hmm.
is in a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
is drowned,
Mm-hmm.
and can still beat the bad guy.
So you think it's a little stretch that
It's a little, yeah.
your logic brain. I've told you before, when you watch
I know.
science fiction or you watch that sort of movie, or
Yeah.
whether it's a James Bond or Fast and Furious, it's a story, guys,
I
and it's a
know.
franchise, and you've got to give a
Franchise.
little to get a little. You don't
I
have to
know.
suspend. It helps if you suspend
In
um,
reality. Yeah. I
the
know.
reality entirely.
I
Look,
know.
that's happened for every movie I can imagine. Look, even
Mm,
Zorro, Walt Disney's Zorro. Um,
yeah.
how many sword fights? How many people did he fight with one
I
sword
know.
and it never broke? And there are other movies
Yeah.
that we've seen and the sword breaks, but they still win the
Yeah.
fight. You know,
I know. And I just
it's
feel
a
like
movie.
I know, but I don't know if it's just because I've gotten older and now I'm like, that would never happen. Like, or
When
I
was the
just
last
can't
movie?
lose
When was the
myself in these
last movie you
movies.
were shocked by? Surprised you? In other words, whoa! I didn't see that
Oh,
coming.
the last movie I was surprised by. Oh,
Can I ask you
uh,
whether you saw Silence of the Lambs?
oh no, that's scary. Lauren doesn't watch scary movies.
Did I not take you to the launch of Silence
God,
of
I
the
hope
Lambs?
not. I would have been like 5.
Oh, no, you wouldn't have been 5. You would have been maybe 13.
Oh no, ugh, no. Mm-mm. I can't. I'm not good with. I'm good with psychological thrillers. They fascinate me because I like the way people's minds work. Um, but like actual that stuff scares me.
Did you ever watch the ABC series Luther with Idris Elba?
I've seen a couple of episodes. Yeah,
Do you like that
I watched
thriller?
Game of Thrones and I loved it. I would
Wow.
laugh when they, cut people's heads off. I'm like, haha, that's hilarious. But for some reason,
What about the dragons? Did you not suspend
oh,
your belief?
actually, you know what? That probably is the last show that genuinely shocked me. Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you loved it. You stayed.
Loved it.
You stayed till the bitter end.
Yeah. Loved it.
Did you get over the end? Was it the ending fit your emotion? Okay.
No. I mean, parts of it were inevitable.
Yeah.
I knew from early on that Jon had to kill Daenerys. Sorry, spoiler alert.
What?
I knew that had to happen. It was just something in me.
That blindsided me. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, no. I saw it coming very early on. There were only two characters that never met.
No wonder you don't see scary movies.
Yeah. I know. Well, I've told you this before. I'll go over to Mum's place and she'll be watching a show and I'll just point to the screen and be like, that's the killer. And she's like, stop.
You know
Spoil it for everyone.
You know who else has that gift?
Yes, your wife, Di.
And grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma.
That's because she's seen the episodes too many times.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
It's very true. So what are we going to watch this week?
Oh, hang on. I did have something for you. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So it's on Disney.
Yes.
It's called Stumptown.
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 Okay.
And can I say, it's a great cast.
Yeah.
But try not to fall in love with them because apparently this is the only season we're going to get.
Oh.
Which is crap.
I hate
utter
it
crap.
I hate it when you deflate the whole expectation with that sort of word. All right, for you, because I know that you love suspending your logic as quickly as you possibly can. I'm going to test you. There's a new season of Morning News on Apple.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
So it's the new Apple original. It's called Morning News. It stars Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and a bundle
Steve
of
Carell.
other Carell. Yep. Yeah. But it isn't a funny Carell.
I know.
It's Steve Carell playing the drama, the full-on dramatic performance.
The straight man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's amazing how many comedians do have that touch and can really play great dramatic roles. And you sit there and you look at them in a different light and you go, wow, I didn't think they had that range. And sure enough, he does in this particular.
You need the balance of both.
Well, ideally you do. But there is comedy and there is comedy. There is comedy and then there's slapstick. I mean, could you ever imagine, and I think he has done one role, maybe he's done a couple, but I'm talking about one of Canada's favourite sons who has done an awful lot of theatre. He played Dumb and Dumber.
Jim Carrey.
And Jim Carrey's a strange cat, seriously talented, but you want to see him either dig deep and do a straight role, and I just wonder whether he has it in him.
I think there's a show on Stan called Just Kidding that he has done, which I've always wanted to watch. And that might be one that's worth both of us watching because I think he's quite serious in that. Even though he plays an out there kind of character, I think it does kind of draw in on his more serious side. So that might be something we should watch.
Yeah, because he can be outlandish. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's part of the shtick. The Carey number. I'll give you the example. His partner in Dumb and Dumber is Jeff Daniels, right? And Jeff Daniels is seriously talented. Can play the stupid, dumb so-and-so and can play the very dramatic, straight character lead in either a movie or a television series. And we saw him in Newsroom, which was another one of those fabulous series
Aaron Sorkin.
Out of the United States. Yeah, Aaron Sorkin, and requires a really polished, strong performance. And he does it. Now,
Yeah,
I ask you, do you think Carey could do it?
I think he can.
Would
I
he
think he
though?
can.
Would he put himself to it?
Yes,
Ah,
definitely.
okay, all right.
It's about his art.
Ooh, that's a very
Mm.
interesting. That's a very
And
interesting thing to
as a
say.
lot of comedians do, they have a dark side.
Oh,
You
very
know, so
dark.
they
Very
they
dark.
read the serious roles quite seriously because they get it, they understand it.
You touched on a nerve there. You do a lot of
Mm.
improv, don't you? Stand up.
Yep. Yeah.
How are you finding it in that lockdown?
No, it's awful. I haven't seen anyone. I haven't, like, we can't get together. So we tried doing it online for a few weeks.
And how does that go?
People just drop off. It's hard. It's really hard in terms of like timing and continuity.
Do you miss the audience? Is that what it is?
No, you know what? I miss the people. I really
The
do
actual
miss.
people.
Yeah, it's this whole idea of people that have found something they're passionate about, getting together and just being silly with it, you know, and I can't do that anymore. And it hurts my heart. But, you know, there's a group of 4 of us that have kept in touch. And we do like games nights now, or we just get on the phone and have a chat for a few
have a working
hours.
title as a gang?
Well, we just call ourselves the Core 4.
The Core 4. That's
the Core
good.
4. Okay. Yeah. And we're
good
absolute idiots, and I love it.
Oh, what sort of humor?
Oh, anything. This is what happens when you're with a group of improvisers, is you start with one joke and then everybody has to give an example of that joke, and it'll keep going until everyone's just in fits of laughter. Okay. And then you start talking about something else. Yeah.
And it leads you to another joke.
Yeah. I mean, it's just constant jokes.
Okay. Do you think we could do an improv night?
What do you mean?
You know, host an improv night.
I mean, that would be great, but how?
So who would hold the microphone?
Who would hog the microphone? I think we know very well who would hog the microphone, George.
Hang on. Can't even get it right. There you go.
It's not me. It's you.
No,
it'd be you, mate.
No.
You would do it. No, you should be pointing to yourself. It's this guy right here.
Hang on.
Yeah, raise your hand.
Yeah, raise my hand. Have we finished this podcast?
Oh, I think we finished it a while ago. We're just still talking. Did we even talk about the movies? I don't think so.
No, we took a decided turn to the left, and we should have maybe shimmied to the right, and we got distracted. And hey, just call it, you know,
what it is.
COVID fatigue.
COVID brain.
COVID brain. It's taken a toll.
COVID
but we promise we'll be better next week. If you want to catch up on any of the podcasts we've done, TV is all we've got. I think they're available on Apple and also on Spotify.
And Spotify.
And all you go is to the search function and you look up TV is all we've got.
TV. It's all we've got.
It's all we've got. There you go. Lauren Danikian is the one on the left.
Or the one that sounds like a female, if you're not watching and just listening.
You're supposed to say.
Dad just did an eye roll. And this is George Danikian.
On the right.
Who sounds like a man.
You're going to get it. When the new microphone lands, the Rode Podcaster.
Did you get the Rode Podcaster?
I'm getting a Rode Podcaster.
I'm jealous.
To take you on.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll be able to do stand up with finesse.
Well, my microphone is dynamic. So what does that say for you? Bow.
Very good. TV's all we've got. Catch you next week.
All we've got. Bye.
Bye.